Welcome, survivors, seekers, and thrivers. I'm your host, Shari Leigh Roberts, psychic medium, energy healer, and living proof that you can transform your pain into power. Each episode, we dive into trauma healing, developing your intuitive gifts, and reclaiming your life. Get ready for real stories, deep wisdom, and a little laughter along the way.
Welcome to this week's conversation with Jon Paul Crimi, Breathwork coach, sober coach. He highly sought after by gymnasts, celebrities, executives, and commoners like me. People who want to begin a healing journey, or who are stuck in their journey. And Jon Paul, I have been stuck in my journey, trying to unveil what it is that is holding me in this voice. Like you, I had a abusive childhood, and then chose partners and people who were similar in familiar. I began a wonderful healing journey about 2019. Did a ton of modalities and am a healer today. What I love, one of the many things I love about you is that you don't just talk the talk. You, developed in epic healing modality that you continue to work today. If you would let's begin by you sharing what prompted you to begin healing. and where you were when they happened.
Okay. Well, thank you for having me on today. I'm excited to share my story with your audience. It depends on, it's interesting when you ask that, because I think there's different areas and levels and places of the healing journey, right?
Yeah.
Because it wasn't just one thing, because a lot of people want to know where I started breath work, but my healing journey started much earlier than breath work. It started with sobriety in my 20s. I'm sober from drugs and alcohol for 26 years now, and that is the beginning of the healing journey. That's where it really started, because I tried to heal myself. I tried all the self-help, all the different things, and none of that works when you're drinking and doing drugs, right? It doesn't stick.
Yeah.
You can't make it work, because if you keep self-medicating, and I know there's people out there who are, like trying the self-help and trying the modalities, and then they're self-medicating, right? And it's like, this doesn't work when we self-medicate. So I feel like I need to start there, because you have to allow the feelings to be felt, and you have to be uncomfortable and work through that stuff. And if we keep self-medicating, we never do that. And so I got sober when I was 27 years old. I've been sober for 26 years now, and that's been an incredible journey. And in that process of sobriety, I started helping other people, and that was a big part of my healing journey. Like, what people miss sometimes is, like, they want to work on themselves, they want to heal themselves, and you need to do that. And then you need to turn around and help other people, because that's part of healing. That's part of how we heal ourselves, is we show other people how to help themselves and heal themselves. And so I started helping other people in sobriety, and that was life-changing for me. And in that journey, I'll tell you how I found breathwork, which was, I was close friends with the actor Matthew Perry from the show Friends. Yeah, it breaks my heart. And so Matthew, I'm sorry. Did you want to say something? Okay.
No.
Matthew kind of introduced me to breathwork in a way he bought me a session with the healer, and this guy did some different things, and some of it was breathwork. And I thought, what is this breathwork? And breathwork is an umbrella term, right? It's like saying fitness, right? If I said, I do fitness, you go, what fitness? What do you do? Do you do yoga? Do you do soul cycle? Do you do CrossFit? Right? Because breathwork, there's so many different techniques out there and different modalities. And then there's different people doing different techniques and branding and all this stuff now. When I started 15 years ago, there wasn't that much stuff out there. There was tons of stuff. I mean, it's been around for thousands of years, but it wasn't popular, right? Like it is today. There's a lot of biohackers and Wim Hof and all these different people. And now all the sort of well-knowns like Tony Robbins and different people have integrated breathwork into their programs. I got to do a class for Tony Robbins last year, which was an incredible moment for me, because I had met Tony back in 2012, and he invited me to a seminar, and that changed my journey. That was a different level in my healing journey, right? And so I got to go to a Tony Robbins seminar, and I decided I'm done with the Hollywood stuff, and I'm just going to help people. And then I found breathwork right after, through a series of circumstances, including my friend Matthew Perry helping me with that. And I went down a rabbit hole of all the different breathwork stuff out there. And I found this one particular technique that I love called circular breathwork, conscious connected breathing. And it's an intense kind of way of breathing. It's not relaxing. It's not a meditation.
No.
People think that. And I try to tell people, I try to prepare people like, listen, this isn't a relaxing meditation, right?
No.
It's like a workout, and I'm going to shout during the class, and I'm going to be like, come on, it's not that hard. You've done harder stuff in your life than lay on the floor and breathe. Let's go. And I talk to people really hard, and I've got the music cranked in the background, and at the end of the breathing, we breathe this way for 30 minutes, and at the end of it, we scream, we shout, we let things go. And then afterwards, I have you pull moments of gratitude, moments of love in your heart. It's a really incredible ride, this class that I teach.
Yeah.
And it was born out of all these different things that I was doing, and put it all together in a way that I felt regular people would want to do. And when I say regular people, I just mean, when I found breathwork, it was very new agey. It was very woo-woo, right? And I'm a guy from Boston. I'm not that kind of guy, right? To do this kind of work. And I went, oh my God, what? But the experience from the breath work was so powerful. It was so undeniable. I cried in a way I've never cried. I let go of years of stuff, which is the most common statement after my class. People say, holy shit, that felt like 20 years of therapy without saying a word. I felt like that. I let go of all this stuff. And I went, why doesn't everybody know about this? And I realized that I've been kept in these small kind of new agey spiritual community woo-woo circles. And if somebody did it Tony Robbins style, if somebody did it East Coast style with edginess and funniness and science, they brought in the science to it and all that kind of stuff, then maybe they'd have hundreds of people, maybe thousands of people in their classes. And it would change lives. And I was right. It took a little while to build it up, but sure enough, I had hundreds of people in my classes. Last year, I did the largest circular breathwork class in Switzerland, over 900 people, which was incredible, in person.
Yeah.
And so I've gotten to do this for the last 15 years, and I've gotten to change hundreds of thousands of lives with this incredible work. And I've seen the most miraculous things, like you were talking about, the most miraculous healings, because so much of our physical stuff, right? Whatever that is that's happening to us physical in our body is emotional. I have alopecia. I have an autoimmune disorder, and that's brought on by stress and trauma. So that's your emotions affecting your physical health, affecting your immune system, and then affecting your hair. All my hair fell out, and my hair grows now. I shave it, but you know, I always tell people, like, your emotions will affect your physical health. So this modality, this breath work that I teach, works on that. It works on the nervous system that we store all this stuff. I have had so many people come into my classes over the last 15 years and say, like, my God, I thought I did all the work. I did this, I did the therapy, I did the 12-step, I did all these things. I thought I did all the work. And I'm saying, yeah, you thought. That's the key right there in your language. The thought is in your head. The work you did was in your head, but this work is in your body. This work is in your nervous system. That's a different thing. And this stuff, all these things that come up for you in the breath work, all these traumas that can come up during the breath work and get cleared, those things are still living in your nervous system. Thinking about them, and trying to fix them from the mind, from the head, doesn't always work for people. Sometimes it does, sometimes it doesn't. But this stuff that lives in our nervous system, this breath work goes in and works on them in a different way and clears them out in a different way. So I tell people, I'm like, do this breath work for a while and watch what happens. It's incredible. It's miraculous. And I always say, don't take my word for it. Like, do it and find out for yourself. And I'm really glad that you came and did a class and tried a class with me.
I am too. There are many things we will delve into, but I'd like to talk about Matthew for a couple minutes. We all love him, and many of us felt his pain and could relate, though we didn't know exactly what was happening or what he was living. Did the breath work that he introduced you to not work for, I mean, do you mind talking about that? I think that is a source of learning forward.
Yeah.
So many.
Yeah. I don't mind talking about it. It's heartbreaking. They say that grief is love with no place to go. And I miss him and I want to reach out to him all the time. And it breaks my heart still. The thing with Matthew, and not just with Matthew, with a lot of people, 12-step recovery, AA, it works, but you have to keep working it, right?
Yeah.
Going to the gym and working out, exercise, it works. But when you stop doing it, you get out of shape. Breath work and all those modalities out there, they work. But you have to keep doing the modalities. You have to keep, whether it's meditation or cold plunge or breath work or the gym or 12-step, this is maintaining our conditioning of what we need. I have a reprieve from alcoholism, a daily reprieve, and I have to maintain that. I have to maintain that. So I have to be vigilant about my condition. So I have a routine to stay sober. And if I stop doing that routine, it's just a ticking time bomb of like, I'm going to relapse, right? I've been sober for 26 years because I still go to meetings. I still help other people. I still, do all the things that got me sober. So many people will do the things in the beginning and then get the sobriety and then they get this big life and they get a family and a job and a career, and then they stop doing the things that got them sober, and then it's just a matter of time before they fall off. So I have a pretty intense regimen of self-care, I like to call it. I do exercise, I do the gym, I do Brazilian jiu-jitsu, I do the cold plunge, I do the sauna, I do the breath work, I have a float tank, a sensory deprivation tank. I do all these things, and people are like, oh my God, you do all these things. How do you have time for that? I'm like, well, if I don't do those things, my life, I'm not going to have any time in my life because then my life is going to be about alcohol and drugs, right? And then it's a trade-off. Like I watch less TV than the other person, the average person sitting there watching 4 hours of TV a night. I don't do that. I use that time for my self-care. I delete the social media apps off my phone, although I have to be on them for my business. I post on them, but I don't doom scroll on my phone, right? Because what are my priorities? My priorities are keeping myself emotionally, mentally, physically fit, and then spending time with my family, taking care of my business, which is helping other people. Those are my priorities. That's what I need to focus on. So if it doesn't fit into that realm, then I don't have the time for it. I don't have the space for it. So, people will say, well, like these things, Matthew didn't stay sober. So, 12-step AA recovery doesn't work. Yes, it does. He stopped doing it, right? Breath work, you stop doing it. Going to the gym, you stop doing it. So we have to stay on a program. We have to create a routine to maintain that thing that we got from the modality. But, first you have to find the modalities that work for you.
Yes, and you are right. So many people that I and you, like Matthew, want to co-work fix, and there are no co-work fixes.
Well, sometimes there are, but then you still have to keep doing them, right?
Yeah.
The breathwork session, people come to my class and have a massive experience in their first time. Massive, transformational. They have epiphanies and realizations, and they let go of years of stuff. And then you have to keep, you don't have to do the breathwork all the time, but like you have to keep doing things to work on yourself.
Yeah.
But you will have an experience, a massive transformation in your first time. Everybody wants a quick fix, and this actually does it, but you have to do it. You have to keep doing it.
Well, yes, and my energy healing is the quick fix, but like you said, if you just keep going down that path,
Yeah.
I mean, you keep doing what fucked you up. You're gonna
Yeah.
keep being fucked up.
People want the
Right?
easier. Yeah, people want
Yeah.
the easier, softer way. They want it to be
Yeah.
easy. They want it to be soft. And here's the thing: this great motivational speaker Les Brown always says, if you do what's
Oh.
easy all the time, life gets hard. But if you do what's hard, life gets easy. So I have to do the hard things, like breath work, like the gym, like cold plunge. Like I do cold plunge all the time. People go, I don't like the cold. Yeah, I don't fucking like the cold either. I like cold. Who likes that? But I like what it does for me afterwards. I like
Yes.
that it takes all the inflammation out of my body. It takes the pain out of my hurt
Yeah.
knee and my shoulder and my back, and it makes me feel good, and it does all these things
Yeah.
for me. I like
Yeah.
what it does for me. So
Yeah.
I choose to do the hard things so that I can feel better, so that I can live a better life. So
Yeah.
you get to choose your hard, because when you do the easy things, your life will get hard too. When you drink, when you eat too much, and you do all those easy things that feel good in the moment, that's going to cause a hard later, right? That's
Yeah.
going to wreck your health,
Right.
and that's going to
Right.
destroy your life. So you get to choose which hard you're willing to do.
Let's now talk about our inner dialogue and brain. And I love your sentence that says your brain doesn't give a shit about your happiness. And this is at the core of healing and choosing healthy, supportive, healing ways. Talk about that.
Yeah, I'd love to. Thank you. So the brain doesn't give a shit about your happiness. Your brain's job, your brain has a very particular job. It has a few jobs, but one of them is to protect you, to keep you safe from tigers and from things that are bad out there, right? And it's always doing that job of trying to keep us safe. And what happens, especially like anxiety is a great example of this, our brains get overactive and they start to put fear into us. Be careful of that tiger. There could be a tiger over there, right? We are intuitively scared of spiders and snakes because they have killed us in the past, right? And so that is in our DNA. So we're intuitively scared of these things in our DNA. And our brain knows that. So our brain gets scared of spiders and snakes because it's intuitive. It's in our DNA. We've learned that. So our brain's job is to protect us from all these things. And sometimes what happens is it gets overactive and it starts to go, don't leave the house, right? You could get killed out there, right? And so that's how people become shut-ins. They don't want to leave the house. But it's always protecting us. And sometimes it starts to give us bad information. And that's a scary thing, right? When your brain can feed you bad information and tell you things that aren't necessarily true, and it's overacting, it's trying to keep you safe all the time. And so we have to discern between what's our brain's just trying to overprotect us and what's naturally keeping us safe. And so like one of the things that can happen during this breath work when we do it, my style of breath work, is your brain will start to freak you out. It'll go, I'm dizzy, I'm lightheaded, it's weird, I don't like it, stop, it's weird. It tries to get you to stop doing it in the first 10 minutes. The first 10 minutes of the breath work is really hard. It doesn't want you to do it. And one of the reasons is, it's just like going to the gym, right? When you go to the gym, you're like, I don't like this, it's weird, the equipment, I don't want to work out today, this sucks, whatever. But it's even more so with breathwork, because there's a thing that can happen during this breathwork called transient hypofrontality. Part of the prefrontal cortex of our brain can turn off in this incredible way. And that's the area of our brain where the critic lives, where the ego lives, where the overthinking part of our brain, it's always talking shit to us, right? Oh, you're not smart enough. You're not funny enough. You're not rich enough. You're not pretty enough. You're not thin enough, whatever. Like, it's always telling you all this stuff. And it turns that off, and it gets past that back to our lizard brain, and also moves us into our heart, where clarity is, where the answers are, where the real answers are in our heart. Because we have two operating systems. People don't talk about this enough. We have the operating system of our brain, which is a supercomputer, which can be incredible and help us figure things out and do things, which sometimes that operating system gets overloaded. And then we have the operating system of our heart, where we can make choices from there too. We can make decisions from our heart. And I like to say that sometimes breathwork will turn down that operating system of our brain, and we can turn up the operating system of our heart and make clearer choices from that, better choices from that. I want to operate my life from my heart's choices, not my brain's choices.
Yeah, I have learned in my healing that everything good and positive for us comes from a heart or love based place.
Yeah.
At the end of it all, it is love. Self love, love of others, being one with God and all. And there is a time that comes when it's no longer a struggle to do the breath work or meditate or yoga or energy healing. We get it, and then it's like, wow, okay, now I live in a reality where I am healed, I am happy, I am helping others. There is no longer that negative ego saying, no, you don't want to do that. You want to drink. You want to do whatever.
Yeah. It takes some time to rewire that brain, right? Yeah. And we have to do these practices, whatever they are, that work for you, whether it's yoga or breath work or what other modalities out there. You have to do them for a little bit to get them wired into your nervous system and see the results, and then go, okay, I'd much rather not drink today and do yoga or breath work or whatever and feel good about myself. And so it takes some time. And I think you mentioned in there self-love a little bit, and love being the answer. And, it sounds a little corny and a little trite, but that's been my experience as well. I realized somewhere in this journey that like I'm never going to hit a place where I stop making mistakes. And
Right.
I don't know why
Uh-huh.
I don't know why I thought I would stop making mistakes, but I haven't. I haven't stopped making mistakes. And so if that's the case, if that's my story, if that's my truth, that I'm going to keep making mistakes,
Yeah.
then why do I keep beating myself up? And why am I so hard on myself? Because that's not serving me. I was so hard on myself and it wasn't serving me. And then I watched my daughter as a really young girl start to be hard on herself, and oh my God, it hurt my heart. And I went, oh well, I have to model for her what self-love looks like, what self-forgiveness looks like, what it's like when you make a mistake and going, yeah, I made a mistake, but this is how I love myself through it. This is how I own the mistake. I apologize for the mistake, how I love myself through the mistake. So I had to model that for her. I like to say in my classes, work hard on yourself, but don't be hard on yourself, right?
Yeah.
And so learning how to love myself has really been one of the key things that I've gotten out of the breath work. There's been so many benefits and things that have come into me in my life from the breath work. But one of the biggest ones is like, oh, I'm just going to love myself. Like I'm human and I'm making mistakes. Like, let me, because you hear it all the time. Like, oh, you got to learn to love yourself. Show me how to do that, Shari. Like, show me how. Great. That sounds great, but fucking
Yeah.
show me how to love myself today, because I don't know how. And people
Yeah.
think it's okay. I'm going to love myself. I'm going to go get some chocolate or a massage or buy myself a nice pair of jeans. That's not, that's a reward. That's
Yeah.
not self-love. The self-love is
Right.
doing the hard thing, like the breath work, like the cold plunge. It's doing the hard thing when you don't feel like doing it,
Yeah.
and doing it consistently. I don't feel like doing this stuff a lot of the times, but when I
Right.
do it consistently, even when I don't feel like it, I feel better. And then I get to give myself the reward, the ice cream, whatever, right?
Yeah.
So I have to do the hard things consistently to feel better.
I can really like I have two grown daughters, and my youngest is struggling with not knowing, looking at her or looking at her high accomplishments, even though I felt I was loving, supportive mother. My lack of self-love and issues trickle down in their own ways. Today, when I did your breath work, one of the things that came through was my youngest daughter struggling because of things I did or didn't do.
Mm-hmm.
And it was about fully recognizing that I did the best I could do
Yeah.
at that time. And her at some point giving me credit for what I did right.
Yeah.
You said that in that hit home not only for me. Okay.
It's all right.
Sorry. You talked about that in your journey, and I too have come to realize my parents, though they had some bad shit going on that they projected on me, they also made me in the best ways who I am. And my daughter at some point, hopefully, will like move a bit more center from finding me fucking annoying to a place of love and understanding. Can you share
Sure.
about that and how your breathwork helps that happen?
Yeah. So one of the things that I think you're talking about the class that I just did recently this past Sunday, where I shared after the class about my father. You know, my father's got Alzheimer's now, and it's heartbreaking to watch. And you know, my relationship with my father has been a journey, right? I did so much work around my dad. I would go do another modality or another seminar, another thing, and then the stuff around my dad would come up, and I'd be like, really, this fucking guy again? Like, when is it not going to be about this guy, right?
Yeah,
when is it not going to be around my father? And in one of them, I had this epiphany. I had heard it from Tony Robbins. I had heard it from Tony in his seminar, but I was in another seminar, and I just had this epiphany of what Tony said. And he said, you know, if we're going to blame our parents for everything that's wrong with us, then we have to blame them for everything that's right with us too. So I sat there, I took out my notebook and I just started writing down all the things that my dad did right. And I wrote for like 2 hours, and he did a lot of beautiful things. He did a lot of things right.
Yeah.
And I had just been stuck in the anger around a few things that he did wrong. And they were big things that he did wrong. They weren't little things. They were big things that he did wrong.
Yeah.
But like, I'm not perfect. I'm sure I'm doing some things wrong here. And so if I want my kids to forgive me for my mistakes, then I have to forgive my parents for theirs. Yeah. And I had that epiphany. I also, you know, I created this thing called the transformational letter. It's in one of my courses that I have online called the 5-day emotional detox course. And it's, you write a letter to this person that you have some issues with, unresolved issues, right? Some stuff. And you write, and people have heard this. Oh yeah, I've heard the letter. I go, hold on, let me tell you the process, right? You write the letter saying everything you want to say, everything you've never been able to say. And then you write a letter back from them, making them say everything they're never going to say, everything they can't say, everything they won't say. They're never going to fucking own it. So we have to
Yeah.
make them own it. If we have to wait for people to own their shit and apologize, we're screwed because it's not going to
Yeah.
happen.
Right.
So, and they might not even
Right.
be with us anymore, you know? And
Right.
so I did this around someone who had committed suicide that was very close to me, and it broke my heart. And I was struggling with the grief so immensely because I felt like I was responsible for this person, that to take care of them, to look out for them. And there was so much shame and grief and all this. I was messed up. And then I did it around my dad, and it's been so incredibly powerful. And so you write the 2 letters, and then you do breath work right afterwards. So the letters bring up all the things, right? They think all the things you want to say, all the things you want them to say. And then the breath work brings about the healing in the process, which is incredible. And I've done this in workshops all over the country, all over the world, really. I do it in my teacher trainings. I teach other people how to teach this breath work. I've certified over 3,000 people in my method of breath work. And I have my teachers do it in the teacher training. And people have told me, like, that was the most powerful thing I've ever done in my life. That was the most transformational thing I've ever done in my life. I call it the transformational letter process. So you write those 2 letters and you do this big, heavy breathwork session. And it's incredible. And so that's one of the things I pass on to my students and my teachers and stuff like that, is that transformational letter process and the healing. And I recommend it. I recommend, coming, trying breath work, trying a class. And if it speaks to you, it's not going to be easy. Nothing worthwhile is easy, but it's not that hard either. I always say, you've done something harder in your life than lay on the floor and breathe. Yeah. Come on. Right? Like going for a tough hike is harder than a breathwork class, but it's just a little uncomfortable. And only in the first 10 minutes of doing the breathing actually gets easier after that, right? Because the mind quits fighting you, and then you go, okay, we're doing this. And we breathe this way for 30 minutes, and then you have an experience. And the experience is different for everybody, and it's different every time you do it. So if you were to do that replay 5 more times, you would have 5 different experiences.
Yeah.
Even though it's literally the same class. So you have to be willing to try something new and show up for yourself. And the thing with our children is challenging. If they want to heal themselves, they have to do the work. We blame our parents, our family, because they put our buttons, they installed them, right? My issues, my things may be because of my parents, right? They installed those buttons on me. But like my responsibility, it's up to me now. Right? I can't blame my parents anymore. Right. I'm an adult. And so I have to own that and go, okay, yes, I may have this issue and that issue, and I may not trust because of my dad or whatever, but that's on me, and I need to figure that out for myself now. Otherwise, those just get passed on again to my kids, generationally. Right. Trauma is passed on through the DNA. Science has proven that trauma is passed on through the DNA. So I can change that story in my family lineage.
Yes. During the breathwork, I did start, well, first, my hands, knees, and feet were vibrating so much that, I mean, they were moving.
Yeah.
Now I did begin to get the little bit of the not rigor, but
the tetany in your hands, you mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, you got people's hands can cramp up. It's called tetany. And it happens because you're, breathing in this way that, we're not resting. It's a little, technically it's hyperventilating, but it's not bad for you. You're fine. But you can cause this tetany in our hands, and it can cause these physical sensations in our body. And some people are so caught off guard by the physical sensations, even though I prep people for it. I tell people it's going to happen. They don't believe me. right? And then I tell them all these other things that are going to happen. They don't believe me, right? And so I do my best to prepare people properly, but they have to find out for themselves.
Well, thank God that you did.
Yeah.
So, when the technique began, I stopped and thought, what am I doing? And it came to me that I was tensing up, bringing breath into my stomach was easy. Letting it in my chest was like trying to break into a vault. Okay?
Yeah.
And that realization made me settle in and do the 2 breaths in and then the 1 out. Would you now talk a bit about the breathing technique and how what I was doing
Yeah.
was then right, but is a testimony to my voice and why I need to keep working that.
Yeah. So there's a lot of things here.
Yeah.
So let me just talk about the technique. So most of the breathing techniques out there are through the nose because, they're calming your nervous system. This one is through the mouth, right? And so why would we breathe through the mouth? When we breathe through the nose, it's parasympathetic. It's rest and digest. When we breathe through the mouth, it's sympathetic. It's fight or flight. So why would we purposely do that? Because we want to breathe into the nervous system where the trauma is, where all the stories are stored, where all the things that happened to us or were passed on to us are stored in that nervous system. We're going to breathe in that nervous system in a specific way with the intention of clearing that stuff out. And it's really powerful. Intention is really powerful. And some people, the technique itself. So first I want to say, don't ever do this like in a bath. Don't ever do it driving. Don't ever do it in a pool or on a float near water or anything like that. You need to be laying down. And the first time, at least the first time you do it, you should do it with somebody who knows what they're doing, either me or somebody else, right? And so you should do it with somebody guided the first couple times is my suggestion.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yep.
So there's that. I ironically, when I first started doing breathwork, I could not breathe into my stomach. So the technique is 2 breaths in, 1 breath out, in and out through the mouth. The first breath is in the belly, the second breath is in the chest, and then we let it fall out. And it's kind of the opposite way we should be breathing in life. We should be breathing through our nose. We take a breath into our nose, we let it out, and then we rest or we talk. But this is circular breath where we keep it going. We go, right, and we keep it going. So it's gonna create a lot of different things. A lot of different things are gonna happen. But so what I was saying was, I was a personal trainer for 20 years, and I couldn't breathe into my stomach because I'd been keeping my abs, my abdominal muscles, so tight for 20 years that I couldn't get a breath into my diaphragm, into my stomach. And so I would arch my back trying to get it into my stomach, and my back was so sore, but I could breathe in my chest fine. A lot of people are out there breathing in their chest, holding their breath and breathing really shallow all the time. And part of the reason that is because when you breathe deep into your stomach, that's where the emotions are stored, and they don't want to feel those emotions, right? You have a breathing pattern for stress, for anxiety, for depression, for grief. And if you can shift that breathing pattern, you can actually shift the emotion and allow the emotion to be felt and change your life. So, one of the things I would say to you from what you just said is like, it sounds to me, maybe, possibly, you can breathe into your stomach. You've learned that from yoga or from some other things that you've done, and you've gotten that down really well. But breathing into your chest, not so much. And maybe there's a lot of layers around your heart space that you've been protecting that need to be peeled off and opened up and let go, and you need to feel them. And then I would say breathing into your throat and sending some love and some healing there could be life-changing as well. We'd have to see, and the stories around that, whatever the story is around that, and healing that story and letting go of that story. Some of our stories, we hold on to them and they're true. That's the hardest part. It's a true story, but it keeps us stuck by holding on to it and retelling it and reliving it, right? Yeah. And so healing that story and literally asking the universe, that energy that you feel when you're breathing, how do I heal this part of me? Can you heal this part of me? Can you show me what I need to do to heal this part of me during the breath work? Because what you're doing is you're turning off the logical brain and you're tapping into the unconscious brain. And you're tapping into that incredible connected network that we have inside of us. Yeah. Whatever you want to call it, universal energy, connection, God, whatever. You can tap into that when you turn off the thinking part of the brain, and you can get incredible, amazing, beautiful answers there. People like to call them, the spiritual people like to call them the downloads. You get these downloads from the universe, right? That are really beautiful. And those downloads are the information, the information that we need to like act on. And that's what I've done. I've used this breathwork as a tool, like a dial up to my conscious, connected, universal energy, and go, okay, what do I need to focus on today? What's important? What really matters? And sometimes the answer is very simple. It's like, just go down and be a great dad, be a good husband, or go create this class, go create this course, do this, help this person, right? These simple answers that it can't be that easy. It can't be that simple. It can't be that obvious. It has to be complicated and hard and difficult. No, it doesn't.
No. What also came through is it was not only my dad who stifled my voice, but also my mother. So it was always shut your fucking mouth. Shut the fuck up. Speak when spoken to, you get the idea. And then allowed people in my life that only promoted that too. Yeah. So it was really helpful to know the other people and subconscious things that are keeping me from fully speaking. And years ago, I could not Great. I went from being able to being married, having children, and realizing I no longer could scream, and I can't today either. At the end of your session, you allow people that freedom to just let go. And I couldn't. So, do you want to talk
Sure.
about that?
Yeah. So, what I've seen, and this is a bit of a generalization, of course, but it's what I've seen, is that men need permission to cry and women need permission to scream.
Oh,
And so, because those are the things that we grow up with, that it's not acceptable, right? It's not acceptable
Right.
for a man to cry. It's not acceptable for a woman to scream or be loud, right? And
Yeah.
so we get that gets stifled. And you got the message, when you were young, like, your voices, it's not okay. It's not safe for you to speak your truth. It's not safe for you to be heard, right? And that's a story that's true that we want to change, right? And we want to change that story. And so allowing that sometimes forgiveness for those people, it's not for them, it's for you, right? Forgiveness is not for those other people. It's because we're there. The stories with them are keeping us stuck, right? So if you want to somehow find a way to create the forgiveness for those people, knowing, which you said earlier, that they did the best they could with what they had, that they were fucked up and their parents were fucked up before them. And so finding that forgiveness, that peace inside of that, I really, got a lot of compassion from my parents, when I looked at their lives too. But so the yelling, it's not, I have so many women that come up to me after my class, and especially in person, and they go, "Oh my God." Because in person, I use 2 huge gongs, and the gongs are so loud and they drowned out all the noise in the room. You could scream just, ah, but the gongs are so loud. And I used to see in private sessions, when I used to do private sessions, that if I didn't have a gong, I'd say scream. And if I had a female client, she'd go, like a little, like, and I had the gong and I'd wail on it and I'd be like, scream, let it out on the count of 3, 1, 2, 3. And I'd be wailing on the gong and the woman would be like, ah. Right. And just be letting out this incredible scream. The gong really gives permission for that. It's incredible.
Yeah.
But I find that it's them giving permission to themselves.
Okay. Yeah.
It's you giving permission to yourself. Whatever that looks like for you, you have to give that permission to yourself. You don't need permission from your parents. You don't need permission from those other people. You can say, you can yell, you can do whatever you want, but you have to find that permission inside of yourself and find a way to release that and allow that and be that and feel that.
Yeah.
And it may take time, it may not. It may just unlock. I had a guy in a class. It was wild. I was doing an in-person class, and one of my students came over and said, "Something's going on with this guy. Come look at him." And I went over, and I have assistants around the room, and one of my assistants got me, and I went over, and he was kind of drooling down the side of his face, and it looked like he was having a heart attack. I was like, Jesus Christ. And I said, "Are you okay? Are you okay?" And he said, "Yes, I'm okay." I said, "Why don't you stop?" And he said, No, I don't want to stop. And I said, "You look like," he's like, I'm fine. I'm like, okay.
Yeah.
And but it was freaking me out, and it freaked my assistant out,
Yeah. Oh.
And afterwards he came up to me and he said, "Listen, I was that guy that you came to during the class." And I said, "Uh-huh." And he said, "I had something going on with my throat my whole life since I'm 8 years old. And I couldn't fully speak and I couldn't fully talk. and it unlocked in this class, and my voice is free. And I want to thank you. And he started crying, and he gave me a hug, and I was like, oh my God, thank God, you scared the shit out of me.
Yeah.
And so I've seen that a lot over the last 15 years of doing this breath work, where people, and so much of it is just these things that happen to us, and they get locked up inside of us, and then they manifest themselves in us physically, whether it's alopecia or it's a voice condition or it's some other thing. It can be cancer. It can be heart disease. It can be a lot of different things. Our emotions, these are negative emotions, these things that we're storing in our body are affecting your health. I tell people that all the time. Listen, do you think that, stress can cause like heart disease? Yes. Then why isn't the opposite true? If you can emotionally stress yourself out so much that you can cause heart disease or alopecia or whatever, then why isn't the opposite true? Why can't you heal your body and love your body and do some things incredibly good for your body that are the opposite of that heal your body as well? If you can cause a negative reaction in your physical health, then you can cause a positive reaction in your physical health. You just have to put in the work. You just have to put in the work.
That is the key beautifully said. We are out of the time, but I wanted to tell you that my mother is also suffering from advanced dementia. And I empathize with you and your dad that regardless of what they did, that is something you don't wish on anyone. Yet, like you, I agree. My mother would rather have this than poor health, physical health. I wanted to ask you, was there a point in your dad's life that began the dementia journey? And I ask because there was a definitive moment with my mother where I think she decided to take this off-ramp. There were things that she stopped doing that only lead to dementia.
Yeah. I don't think there was a specific point where he made a decision or a choice. I do, however, his older brother and his younger sister both had dementia and Alzheimer's severe, and were put into memory care and became nonverbal. And he watched that, right? And he saw that. And I think, there's a genetic or an environmental component maybe when they were kids that could have been there.
Yeah.
And,
Yeah.
and so I don't know exactly for him, but we started seeing it a few years ago, and we knew where this was going because we had watched, my uncle and my aunt go through it. And so it's heartbreaking now to watch my dad go through it. And, he can't paint anymore or any of the stuff. And it's sad. It's heartbreaking to watch somebody go through this, I just want to say thank you for having me on today. I really enjoyed speaking with you today. And can I tell people where to find me?
Yes.
Okay, great. So my website is breathewithjp.com, BreathewithJP. I say that because people put in breath with JP and it's breathe with JP. There's an E on the end of breathe, right? Breathewithjp.com. And I have another website, Breathwork Teacher Training, but that's where the online courses, you can find it all through Breathe with JP. I do my class every Sunday online on Zoom, and there's a replay after that class. And so if you can't make the live time, which a lot of people can't make the live time, and they'll be like, well, can I still do this class? I'm like, yes, that's what the replay is for. The replay is for people in other time zones or have things on Sunday that they can't make the live time. That's why I have a replay. So you don't have to sign up and show up for the live class. I realize I have to start emphasizing that now with people. You can just sign up and do the replay, because I have people all over the globe who sign up and do the replay. So come experience the class, and if it speaks to you and you want to go deeper, there are other courses that I have, the 5-day detox we talked about, and I have teacher training courses. I do the teacher training once or twice a year in person, and then I have the teacher trainings online as well. So, yeah, I appreciate you having me on today. It's been an amazing experience.
Jon Paul, thank you for your time and coming on. For anyone who hears this, I want to say Jon Paul doesn't just preach healing breathwork. He lives it, has done it. There are many people in his level of notoriety in this healing realm who can tell you how to do things, but they are the most messed up people among us.
Yeah.
So if you are serious about healing with someone who has done it, lives it, and can get you to where you're meant to be with him, then by all means contact Jon Paul. Tell us one more time your website.
Yeah, it's called breathewithjp.com, BreathewithJP. Breathe with Jon Paul, breathewithjp.com. And I'm on, Instagram and Facebook and all those things. But the real way is just to go to the website, Breathe with JP, sign up for a class and try it. Have an open mind, try something different, and see if it changes your life like it changed mine. And like I've watched it change thousands and hundreds of thousands of other people's lives. So show up, do the work. It's not that hard. You've done harder stuff than lay on the floor and breathe, like I said, and see what happens. See what's there for you.
That Darn, and I wanted to talk about the music that you play and how a lot of the songs have come to me a lot over the years. They are poignant and feeling. Next time, let's get more into that.
Okay. Yeah. Thank you for having me.
Thank you, Jon.
Thank you, Shari. Have a great day. Thank you for having me so much. I hope to see you again soon in a class.
Yeah. Oh, you will.
Thank you for listening. If today's conversation resonated with you and you're ready to explore your own healing journey or intuitive gifts, I'd love to work with you. I offer psychic medium readings, energy healing sessions, and intuitive development guidance at shariroberts.org. And if you're not quite ready for a session, but want to be a part of the conversation in a supportive community, join my private Facebook group. The link is in the show notes. You can also connect with me on LinkedIn, Facebook, and Instagram. This is Shari Leigh Roberts. Until next time, remember, you're never alone.